back with the racing, pacing and chasing. Looking at general news, over the weekend I was at Vigneron's Cup Day at Strathalbyn.
Yep.
Had a great day out there, doing a best presented prize for each race. And it was actually Strapper's prize. I went straight to the Strap, which I think is fantastic to include all the workers. They do a great job turning horses out. It's pretty stiff actually, good competition.
Yeah. They started a bit of that over the carnival in Melbourne, didn't they? And I thought that was terrific that they started to recognise the strappers and the horses, how they're presented. And your pics that you act up on Facebook all day were terrific, you know. And
thanks to Chris and the club for having me. Vigneron's Day, fantastic day. Aguilette, John McMillan won the cup, and probably I thought Christy Evans' horse Mayville Josephine out of the race was probably one for her to put in her RPC team, I think. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but locals dominated the day. David Jolly had a good day. Grant Klasky and John McMillan, obviously I said he had a double with Strike and Style and Aguilette winning the cup. And D Jolly has a runner on Saturday called She's Never Late, which I think we should put in the RPC table as well.
Put in the stable.
Yeah.
Any time to play on Sunday, Claire, or was it all work?
I had a couple of nice little glasses of vino.
Yeah. Good.
Don't mind my vino.
Now, Newcastle last Saturday, Claire, I'd like to get your opinion. There was just a mass outpouring of punter emotions on a horse in Newcastle, one of their main races on the day. It was back from $6 into $3.80, so punters tend to talk a whole lot louder when they lose their money. It was a horse called Outrageous, $3.40 favourite from Team Hawks. You've had a look at the race as well. What do you think from a jockey perspective there?
Look, it does look ugly when you watch a race, but just interestingly enough, if you're watching the race from a jockey's point of view, look, he's ended up, the speed probably went on more than what he thought. Out of the gates, he took a little bit of a sit, probably ended back a pair further back than what he may have intended to. But he was following Josh Parr in the run. Probably thought he was following the right horse, which eventually ran second. And actually, if you look where in the straight he was angling, it did look like Josh Parr was going to roll out and give him a run outside of the leader, Kathy O'Hara, who was tiring. And interestingly enough, that Kathy O'Hara, the rider of the leader, when she actually pulls the stick through to her left hand to try and help her horse out and change legs, she actually strikes Josh Parr's mount on the nose.
Right.
And I just wonder if that has influenced the way his horse...
So you think that might have just gone out half a metre or so when that young fella thought, well, I can get through there.
And then he rolled back and straightened up. And I just wonder if that sort of, you know, as a jockey, you're trying to read the play in front of you, and he might have read the horse correctly, and that little bit of, you know, racing got interference. He ended up having no luck at all and went to the line hard held. So I guess all I can do is put Outrageous in the RPC one to follow.
We definitely will. In that situation, though, Claire, as a jockey, like his focus obviously was getting that gap between the two leaders. And that closes up, and as pure punters and spectators, we can see that big gap on over his left shoulder. When you're riding, and your focus is straight away into taking that gap, can your mind take you to where that next gap will be, or your focus stays the same, or is that just a confidence thing and an experience thing?
Well, I do agree with you that perhaps a little bit of experience. He was aiming for one gap and rode for that gap. And perhaps he should have kept his options open. But he was probably too committed to that ground. He would have actually had to switch ground around Josh Parr's mount, which he actually had to come back anyway. But by that time, he was having to drag back so far, he'd lost momentum and really the bird had flown. So he would have had to come back length and a half, and after already stoking his mount up Outrageous to take that run, the momentum's sort of there, he's going for the gap closes, he's disappointed for the run. It's actually very hard to change course, in that manner.
And just one last thing before we get into segments. The last day of the carnival in Melbourne
Sandown Classic
goes to Sandown, and they call it the Sandown Classic, or the Zipping Classic, whatever they want to call it now. To me, it's like a half a yawn festival where they've got horses out from the UK or France that haven't been able to win a race, and here's your last throw at the stumps, and there might be some money on the end of it for you.
And do we all have a bit of fatigue? The spring carnival was sort of going for so long, and I don't know, like, I love the meeting. I think it's an iconic race meeting, and I do feel like perhaps it's an avenue for the actual industry. Out of the Melbourne Cup, we've seen horses go on and race on now. We had Magic Wand win on Emirates Day, and Southern France won at Sandown on the weekend, and it does actually give them another run. So it's not just the Melbourne Cup or bust, which I think is a great thing for our industry. Maybe it just needs a rebrand and a refresh. You know, I think that everyone's so time poor this day and age that we probably, you know, we want the next thing, and I guess racing's not like that. So
could they end it there at Flemington and say, well, we've had the Caulfield Carnival, the Melbourne Carnival, and now the Summer Carnival starts, and it's going to be, and Sandown is the opener.
Maybe push it out another week. So rebrand it, come back in December. I like the way you're thinking.
I'm good at that sort of stuff. Follow through is a little bit harder for me, Claire.
But I think maybe just need a rebrand, refresh. I mean, everything. You know, we talk about history and iconic, and you wouldn't move the Melbourne Cup, but therefore, what does that happen to other carnivals around it, and how do you make the most as a club?
We've thrown our Adelaide Cup around a few times, haven't we?
Yeah, not quite so successfully. That's next year's show.
Yeah, that's right.
But let's just take a little moment, and we'll thank our sponsors. We're sponsored by Punt Club, which is a great app that you can download on your phone. You get some friends together and start a syndicate, and they'll manage that for you.
That's
so
right.
You don't have to chase anyone to put in their $5 for your syndicate. It's already done for you. When someone's turn to have a bet, the money goes straight back into the account, so you don't forget. And I think it's a really great little club to get involved with. So check out Punt Club.
Ladies in Racing we've got too coming up soon. We've got a interview with you and Liz from Equestrian World. That'll be interesting
to see.
We're talking about rehoming there, so I'm looking forward to having a listen to that as well.
Ladies in Racing magazine. Good idea for a Christmas present for someone in your life. Subscription at the moment for 2 years. You can also win a $300 Ambassador travel voucher. So get online and check out that subscription. Great Christmas present idea.
Let's have a look at 3 wide no cover, eh?
Race 7 last Saturday, Star Status, first time over a journey. Unfortunately, he goes into our 3 wide no cover. He's been a bit of a favourite of racing, pacing, chasing. We followed him. But Jerry Chow, I'd just like to, on a side note, send out a cheerio to both Jerry Chow, who's had a fall last week, although he's back riding this week. But he missed out in the ride in the Star Status, and Gary Lowe took the ride. So perhaps being thrown in the deep end didn't necessarily help Gary Lowe here.
Well, it's his first time over the journey as well, so 16 to 1950, it's sometimes hard to get him to settle, isn't it? So, and maybe it didn't, he took off 3 wide just a fraction early, but the horse stayed there until probably 100 to go, it was still boxing on for 3rd. So I think that's a good selection to go in there, Claire.
Well, hopefully he'll bounce back for the RPC team, but check out the replay now.
But they did pick up the tempo. These front 3 have gone from a long way from home. Star Status, Retrato, Corridon the inside, Dollar Bills at every chance. Set to Cruise comes out. Then Sar Sun Exalted D. Alcarni not picking up at the moment. 400 metres to go. Now hitting the lead, Retrato. Star Status still there. Corridon struggling. Dollar Bills trying to work into the clear. Then Set to Cruise. Sar Sun down the middle. Inside the 2. It's in front, Retrato from Star Status. Running on out wide, Set to Cruise. Dollar Bill back to the inside. 100 out. Retrato still going well. Dollar Bill trying from Set to Cruise. Retrato will win again. He is a nice horse.
Racing, pacing, chasing back now within the money, thanks to Gerard's Horse Products. Gerard's been involved with racing game for many years. Always be happy to sponsor the industry.
I have, and they've come on board with us and given us some vouchers for our guests that come on board. So the first one might go to your equestrian guest maybe later on. But they've given us $10, $50 vouchers, which is fantastic. Always happy to sponsor.
Fantastic, thank you, Gerard. That's awesome. So we're always on the lookout for the horses to follow. And last Saturday, I thought that Be My Star was pretty eye-catching, trained by Will Clark and ridden by Kayla Crowther in race 8.
Pretty eye-catching. You just said before they don't come from the rear at Morphettville Parks and win, and it was 2 lengths behind the second last horse at the top of the straight, Claire.
You check out the replay for yourself here.
Aims the race. Pale Ale makes ground the rail. Thompson's Reward and Tiara Star hook out deep. Then Heaven's Deal and Be My Star. Domination's run this hard. He's got the top weight. He kicked away by 2. Here are the closers though. Tiara Star, Thompson's Reward down the middle. Then Be My Star. It's Tiara Star, Thompson's Reward. Be My Star still coming. They're driving to the line. Oh, Be My Star's had one last dip.
And that's in the money for this week. Big shout out to our sponsors of the show. Prince Albert Hotel Gawler, Punt Club, Ladies in Racing Magazine, Gawler Jockey Club, Gerard's, Fleuro Milk Co., Slow Tours, Sports Centre, Southern Trophies with Darren Rutherford, Peter Page Holden, MGA Insurance Brokers and Steve McInerney, Murder Station, and a big thanks to Adam from Sports Centre for becoming a premium sponsor. We hope you enjoyed our racing show.
Thank you.
Racing, pacing, chasing guest tonight, Liz Barbaro. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
That's okay, my pleasure.
We had you out at Gawler doing a little bit of the interviews out in the crowd at Gawler Cup Day, so it's really great.
Yes, that was lots of fun.
Got you on the show. Look, we'd love to find out a little bit more about what you do. So your business is Tribal Equine. You're based at Globe Derby. Seems like there's a whole range of things which your business involves with.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell a brief overview what you do?
It just seems to keep expanding by the day sometimes, I think. So we do basically everything and anything to your floats, caravans and trailers.
Yep.
We build indoor stables, etc.
Yep. Yes.
All of that. Anything to do with horses, literally.
And you've been riding all your life?
I have, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I also have basically like a re-education program, and I do breaking as well with horses. So
So you competed in shows?
Throughout most of my life, on and off throughout the years as things go. We don't always get a consistent run, but yeah, most of my life I've been competing in the show rings. So
do you remember the first time you ever rode a horse? Can you actually remember?
Actually, I do.
Yes.
So we had a big stable complex on the old Golden Grove Road down there called Yarramalong, and I was on the back of my dad's big grey and Misty. And I'm being led. I know, it has to be. If it's a grey, it's got to be Misty.
Yes.
And I'm being led, and there's like my older sister. She's a couple of years older than me, and she's out jumping, and I'm like begging Dad, can I go do that as well?
Yes.
And Dad's going, no, you're too little. Well, later that day, where am I? Out on another one, trying to jump, failed. But it's the best memory because it was with my dad not being around anymore.
Yeah.
It's one of those few things that we can always look at. And,
do you know the first time you fell off? Was it the same day?
Yes, same day. Yeah. Take the good with the bad.
You got back straight back on. Of course.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the only way to do
it. So I guess we're talking particularly tonight about rehoming racehorses and rehoming standardbreds. Typically, you would get a horse off the track. Is there sort of a time frame that you would sort of say a horse might take to retrain, or what's the first step you do when you get a horse off the track?
Every horse I get, I quite literally pick them up and I just pop them out in a yard for about a week.
Okay.
And I just feed them on cool feed, generally meadow hay.
Yes, yeah. Because obviously when they're in racing condition, they're fed the highly, the best grain you can possibly get. They're really, top condition. Probably sometimes only 2 feet for equestrian riders.
Yeah, I mean for what they're doing, they're spot on with where and what they need to be. But to be able to, work with them to re-educate them to go off to another field, they need to just cool and chill down a bit, which is nothing wrong with that.
So if a racehorse, for example, we're training them to gallop the best they can, a lot of our work goes into their action and how they can actually lengthen their stride. How does that translate to equestrian, and what sort of agility do they need to work on to move into another field?
Still quite similar in many aspects, really. We need, so for me, I have a lot of body work done on the horses in that first 1 to 2 weeks when they come to me. Yeah. From chiropractic work.
So
they've got a loose body, so they're not tight if they've got any soreness issues, because there's no point in me, starting to work with them if they can't move freely.
Okay.
And then once we get that done, I then move on and we start with, the next step, which is if it's a thoroughbred, looking at, doing some saddle time with them. If it's a standardbred, introducing the saddle.
Yeah, right.
It's very different with both of them.
So is it more challenging to retrain a horse that's already trained in a discipline than actually starting with that blank canvas and breaking
in many ways, yes.
Okay.
Because they come with a history.
Yeah.
They've been trained and they've been very well trained for, maybe it might only be 6 months or a year or 5 years to work in one manner.
Okay. Undo all the bad habits.
Well, I wouldn't call them bad habits.
For the jockeys or the drivers.
I wouldn't say that. But, you know, they've been trained so well to do what they were doing that you've literally got to sort of go, okay, well, forget everything you know.
Yeah.
And now listen to me.
Okay.
And you've got to get their mind and their body in the right spot to be able to do that first.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's one of the challenges I see with rehoming racehorses is that it's not as easy as just giving that horse off.
It's not.
And we think, oh, they're quiet horse, they'll be fine to ride, but it's a different type of riding, isn't it?
It's a very different type. I mean, you know, as
It's
a jockey, as a jockey, you're sitting up here, you know, you're hovering over the top of them. But as, you know, throughout the other areas of equestrian, we're sitting on their back. We're wrapping our legs around them.
Yes.
And they're things that a lot of the time they've not really known that communication.
Yes.
And, you know, we're not saying, here's the reins, let's go. We're going, no, come back and let's work together.
About
basically.
being collected and using different muscles.
Yeah, it's an entire different thing.
Yeah.
So.
And what about for a rider? So obviously you're very well schooled, you've been riding all your life and riding all different types of horses. For a rider who's perhaps only ridden ponies, what's the difference do you see? And do they need retraining to ride a racehorse?
I have a little bit of a rule. If somebody's only ever ridden ponies, I won't put them on an ex-racehorse.
That's interesting.
Mostly because...
Until you've trained them properly.
Well, and then that rider, I want to have some time between me and that rider with that horse.
Okay, so you'll match up a rider with a horse.
Yeah, I've had quite a few where I've said, you know, okay, come have a few rides, let's do a few lessons, and then I've gone, you and this horse are not suitable together. And it's nothing against the horse or that rider, and then I've said, I think you'd be better off on, you know, something a bit smaller or something without that racing history. Because they're not suited to every rider.
And each horse does have that individual temperament.
Absolutely. Every horse is completely different.
Which is interesting. And do you often find they take time to adjust from being in a stable to being in a paddock environment?
I have some that they can't tolerate being out in a big open yard.
Yeah, see, I find that interesting because we always assume that an animal will be happier.
They have too much anxiety being out in a large open space. So I'll start them in a more confined stable.
It's like
and then move them out.
It's like a footballer who was once, you know, king of the leader of the team. Everyone wanted to be with him. Then all of a sudden he's, you know, retired. No one sees him anymore. He gets, you know,
nobody wants nothing to do with him. They walk past him and don't even acknowledge him.
So they want that attention. They want that everyday contact. And like, why aren't I, you know,
why aren't I special anymore?
Exactly. So that's interesting. You know, it affects mental health. It
does. You know, and some of them, they won't even eat hay for the first, you know, maybe half a week until they get, you know, to the sort of really searching for more food because their racing feeding schedule was very limited hay.
Okay.
So you've got all those issues to work with, and then you've got some that won't load in floats with ease or travel with ease, or when you take them to a tie-up rail, they become very anxious. So
this is a really good model that you're doing here with Travel Equine. It's fantastic. Retraining horses and passing it on. And just talking back on that mental health, tell us a little bit more about the equine therapy that you do. I'm very interested to hear what you do.
Yeah, I do. We also do adult and child equine therapy or animal therapy. So between our collection of very loving animals we have at home, like we've got a pet cow and a goat and rabbits as well and dog, and then the horses. I have a range of clients from children through to adults with different conditions it might be anxiety, PTSD. It might range from disabilities with autism, behavioural disabilities with ADHD. And each of them are also very different in what they want to do and are willing to do in respects of they might say, I want to ride, but they'll never get on a horse.
Okay.
They're too scared to. And that's fine because they find that grounding space in just being around them. They might brush them, lead them around, sit and have their lunch with them.
And they find their own...
Every person, child or adult, finds their own little happy medium of what brings them that grounding that they're after.
Oh wow, it must be very rewarding, but challenging.
It's very challenging, but there's more rewards. Well, I've got to make sure, you know, that the horses I use for it are, you know,
receptive.
Very. They must be, you know, very in tune to the environment. So I don't like using the word bomb-proof, but they've got to be pretty close.
Yeah.
They must be, very accepting of different situations that also take place, because a child with autism might suddenly start to have an oversensory moment and may not be able to handle the situation, the environment or whatever it is, and might start screaming or throwing things around, which is a common occurrence. And the horse or the pony that I'm using has to accept it.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it?
So it's taken a long time to get all my animals that I use to that level.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting. I think it'll probably something being explored even more. So well done.
It's awesome. I love it.
And you also teach students to ride.
Yes.
Do they bring their own horse, or can you teach them on your horses?
Some bring their own. Some are not in financial positions to be able to afford their own or their own equipment. So we completely use everything of mine. I've got some who are from situations where financially they couldn't even afford an entry fee to a competition.
Okay. So sponsoring riders as well at Trial.
We sponsor quite a few riders, and everyone's from different.
And do they have to muck out the stables and earn
No, they've just got to be good souls.
Okay.
So, but we have some that are just part of what we call our tribal family, because they're such a good soul of a rider and a family, and then we have some others who are in financial positions that they could never afford to do something like this. So it varies, what I do.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so how do people look you up?
On Facebook.
Okay.
That's the easiest way. On Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
So we're there.
Very good. Well, that's fantastic. It's given a little bit of insight about what you do. And I really love the idea of rehoming racehorses and the standardbreds as well. So congratulations on what you do there.
Thank you.